Well, I wake up in the morning, put my boots on like everybody does, grab my hat as I hit the door. But there's something different, there's something more. I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow, may death fear me. And when I run into the fire, Lord, may your hand lead and guide me. 'Cause I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. If I fall, carry me home, shed a tear, but no, I'm not alone. For those who fought and fell before me will be waiting to welcome me home. 'Cause I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. The ones I leave at home.
And welcome to a special edition of the podcast, the All-American Kayak Series Doc Talk with Gene and Troy. What's up, Brother Troy? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Gene. Good to be here.
Good. Hey, man, this is going to be cool. I'm no longer flying solo. I love having my, a partner in crime up here. And we have a freaking awesome guest with us tonight to start this thing off, our first Doc Talk series here. Mr. Mark Lassagne is on board. He's sitting in the green room right now. He's watching from the wings there. But wanted to get a couple things out of the way. Tonight's podcast brought to you by the All-American Kayak Series. If you have not checked us out yet, you need to. Troy and I live by the All-American. This is what we do time and time again. If you're looking for big payouts, you're looking for a national trail that runs around the Midwest, the heartland of America, the heartbeat of America, which sound like a Chevy commercial. It's the All-American, man. Big payouts. Ran great. Josh Booth. I mean, who doesn't love Josh? I mean, that's right. Dude is well known. He's been to the highest mountain in our sport. And that's why we're there. That's why we're doing this.
Yes, sir. This is year 3 for the All-American.
That's right. 3rd year. we need to see our numbers go up, and that's what a lot of the talk is. We're doing behind the scenes is, but in the way we're going to do that is working with the anglers, man. That's going to be the best way we can do it, is just reaching out to everybody and getting their support on there. But we'll get into that.
Seems like every event I go to, we get some great feedback, and we're looking forward to implementing some of that feedback for next season. So
heck yeah,
look out for 2024, guys.
Dude, 2024 is going to be balls out. I'm sure of it. But to the business at hand, let's go ahead and get this guy in the studio here. Mr. Mark was saying, if you've been around bass fishing, you know this guy. He is a pro in the bass boat world. He's on the West Coast, out of Cali. But not just that. This dude is also the owner and founder of Bass Angler Magazine, which has busted onto the scene and become one of the industry's best magazines if you're looking for content that is around the how-to, man. Like, I was watching a few videos here leading up to this podcast, Troy, and I got to tell you, man, he spills some serious juice with he and his guest on, man. They talk and they really grind down into some where, like, the entry-level angler can appreciate it, but also the seasoned angler is like, they can pick up tips too.
Yeah, every minute we spend on the water, we learn something. I love the way they cover our sport.
For sure. So let's get him in here. Let's go ahead and bring Mark in. Mr. Mark, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words on the magazine.
Dude, it's you've built that. I mean, it's you can go out around. I mean, I had it basically, I think, for the first season back in my bass boat days when I was with the MLF. So I think you guys were associated somehow because I started getting a subscription with my membership type thing. I think that's how it came about. Maybe it was a different one, but I started picking up a few of those. Because the wife, she loves all of the different magazines that I have here running all over the place. I got Bass Times, I got Bass, I got the B.A.M, I got all of these in here. I read them and then they are on my desk. I'm not sure what to do with them after that.
You can't throw them away. Too much work went into those publications, man. You can't throw them away.
Well, I always tell myself I'll go back later, right? I'll reference it later. No, I won't. I read it. It's hopefully sticks, and then I move on to the next episode that's coming down.
We work to combat that. So with the print subscription, we also have access to our digital library. So anybody that signs up gets access to our digital library. And I think it only goes back a couple of years right now, but you have all those issues. So if you had it on your desk, you read it and then tossed it away, you can go back and look at it digitally.
See, that's the key, because that
makes it. We're just trying to make it easy for people.
And for new signups, Mark, they can go back into the archives and look.
They can.
Oh wow.
Yep. We if you sign up and sign up today for 1 year, you still get to go back a couple of years and look at the other ones.
Outstanding. Okay.
So I was checking out the Bass, also at your Facebook there, Bass Angler Magazine. We were checking that out. A lot of cool stuff up there. And, a couple posts leading to what got our paths to cross here. So the short version of this, Mark, for the podcast purpose, we have a mutual acquaintance in Jennifer Muse. Dustin and Jennifer have volunteered, and they work with my nonprofit when I go into the Nebraska area. And love me some Dustin and Jennifer. They are such amazing people. They donated kayaks and their time to us to help take a combat vet, Air Force vet, and his family out, because I didn't have enough kayaks for the kids.
Sure.
Because they had a bigger family, and I was like, I'm in trouble here, and I don't have really a way to get kayaks to Nebraska from here. At the time, I didn't have a big enough trailer. They bailed us out, man. They got kayaks. They met us there. They went out with us. We went out to dinner afterwards. Well, she put up some stuff from iCast that was talking about you and some, stuff going on the West Coast there. And I'm like, well, now what is this? Troy and I were just talking. West Coast guys and the Midwest anglers, we got a common denominator in that the big trails out there show us like almost no love. You know what I mean? It's like coming into our neck of the woods. Apparently that's too tough for them. They go for the big money draws, southeast, type thing. That's
Sure.
where they go. And so I always feel for the Cali guys out there. It's like, yeah, man, we know what it's like. I'm in Colorado. You know, it's we got to drive. It's, you know, a long drive for us to get to any decent tournament. At least you guys have amazing freaking waters out there, though.
I live in central, right in the middle of California near Sacramento. So I have a lot of good waterways. I'm gifted in that.
You guys are like bucket list item. Troy, have you ever made it out to Cali?
Never have. Probably Vegas is as far west. Well, we went to Seattle a few years ago, but love to go. I love to fish out there. I watch a lot of Greg Blanchard's videos, and in the kayak scene, they're drawing huge crowds to their kayak tournaments. And what really amazes me is they'll have a shotgun start, and there'll be 70 plus kayaks in one place, and they'll all go straight out from there. It's amazing. I'm not sure how they do it.
They used to do that with bass boats, and then they found out it's a little bit dangerous. But I think with kayaks, it's at least a little manageable. If you hit somebody, it's hard plastic and you bounce off.
Yeah, we can bounce off each other a little bit easier than a 21-foot bass boat with a Merc strapped to the tail end of it.
One day they'll probably make those kayaks so they go 20 miles an hour. The motors keep getting better and better, so we'll see.
Yeah. Every year, a little faster.
You know, and I'm a huge proponent for motorized kayak. I know our roots in the kayak game, you know, goes back, you know, to the paddling and this, and that's cool, man. And if you want to, you know, stay with that, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum. You know what I mean? I'm just not that. I'm 50 years old. I'm portly, fat in other terms. I'm not going to pay $200 to prove you're in better shape than me. There's no reason to do that. You give me my Newport on the back of that kayak, and now we can even it up, and let's put fishing against fishing now.
There you go.
I want to be able to walk to my pickup at the end of the day, not be gassed and have noodle legs because I pedaled, 12 miles that day. So, yeah, I appreciate the motors getting better and stronger for sure. So let's talk about it, Mark. For those of you unaware, there is a new, and I want to emphasize this for folks out there, brand new tournament trail that is in the works right now by Bass Angler Magazine and Mr. Mark Lassagne. You are putting this bad boy together, and it is coming together at like blitzkrieg speed, man. I've been watching some stuff. You are not joking around, man. You're getting this done. Talk to us. What do you got going out there?
What don't I have going? I'm telling you, this is a crazy thing. I made a couple of notes because there's so many things going on in my head. I'm that guy that wakes up at 3:30 in the morning going, "Oh, I didn't think about that," and then I don't write it down. And then at 6, when I'm up working, I'm like, "What was that? I forgot." So, first off, I bought equipment to run bass tournaments. I have 2 trailers, 3 release boats, and I'm going to run some bass tournaments. I'm going to run Pro-Am, Pro Tour, and also Kayak Tour.
Nice.
So I'm working with Michael Bray. A lot of people know Michael. He's been in the kayak world a while, and he does a really good job. So, I just actually put out a survey this morning. I'm not a kayak guy. I currently don't have one. I've been fishing in the kayak a few times. My editor for the magazine, Will Dowd Martin, has been a kayak angler for a long time. So great kayak angler. And he's been back to several of the national events and things. So, we're putting together the events, trying to figure it out, getting the anglers, getting the rules, trying to get sponsors, getting the events events. Here in California, we have to go to a jamboree and pick these event dates. Now, for a kayak series, it's a type C event where you catch, measure, and release.
Yep.
So you don't necessarily have to have a type A permit. However, if you have a type A permit, it kind of locks that body of water up. So my thought is that if we have 100 kayaks out here, and then there's another, say we're a type C event, right? And a type A event is there with 100 boats, it gets a little bit dangerous,
Yes,
with all those boats turn around, and kayaks are pretty low to the water, and if you're running in a spot, there's a possibility of something happening. So I thought it was safer if we got the type A permits for these events. So
That's
I thought
awesome.
that would be better, so that's just kind of one of the million things I have going on, trying to figure this out, getting our event dates, the location, and then some of the lakes we have out here are Forest Service, state, and they require special permits. And you got to get those permits like 90 days in advance. So all this stuff needs to be pre-planned way in advance. And me, I'm a bass fisherman. I'm a tournament guy, right? And I've been on my whole tournament deal is that they blast us off. I go out and go fishing, catch me 5 fish. I come back and weigh them in. They go, okay, 15 pounds, 6 ounces. I'm like, okay, thank you. And I'm off, get my boat out of the water, and then waiting to see how I ended up in the tournament.
Right.
Well, now I'm on the other end of this and trying to figure out, oh my God, what happens behind the scenes, all these different things that I didn't know. So it's a pretty complex world, behind there. I mean, even, kayaks are simpler than regular bass tournaments because there's not so many moving parts. You don't have to have scales and you're not bumping fish.
Yep.
Tourney X does a great job and I before I fished the Apex series, which is, we can go into that later, but before I fished that, I had no idea what Tourney X was. Like, this kayak guys use that. I don't know what that's for. Well, their software is so cool that they can tell if you caught this fish and measured it and took a picture on your board and then let it go and then maybe put it back on your board and put it back a little different way. I mean, they can tell scale patterns and all this stuff. And I thought that was amazing how they could come up with that recognition software and see that. So, those guys do a great job at Tourney X. And we're going to be using Tourney X for our kayak platform.
That's awesome, man. Dwayne is a heck of a guy. He is always working to just keep Tourney X moving forward, keep it fresh, keep it stable for us. We're a huge proponent of Tourney X with the All American. It's something we're actually one of their partners. We're right on their main homepage there, and so yeah, it is an awesome piece of software.
It is, and Dwayne is just a great guy. Also,
He is.
So. I talked to him on the phone a few times, and then we met in person at ICAST, and it's a great conversation. Just a great, good down home guy. So pleasure to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, man. So you clearly don't like free time, apparently.
I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently.
I'm telling you, man, you are busier than a one-armed paper hanger, Mark. I mean, there is some serious stuff going on. Do you plan still to fish tournaments and so forth yourself? Are you still going to try to get that in as well?
Yeah, probably one of the downfalls of this with this tournament circuit is that I'm not going to fish these tournaments.
Right.
I'm not going to fish my own tournaments. I just don't think it's right. But I'll still fish. I'll fish the MLF series out here on the West Coast.
Yep.
I made the championship the last couple of years. I made the Tackle Warehouse tour the last 2 years, and this year I was planning on going back east and fishing it. Not now because there's so that was the plan. But so I'm going to go back and fish the Toyota Series Championship this year, and then I plan on fishing MLF events, and I kind of staggered my events around those. I'll probably also there's another circuit out here, One Bass, who does a good job at putting on events. I'll probably fish some of those. And I can see that a kayak is in my future. Probably like you, I'll have a motor on the back. The kayak fishing I've done, I did it in Florida and I had a paddle.
Nice.
And I fished for barracuda, and
Oh
with
my
a
gosh.
nylon leader. So if you ever fish for barracuda, you don't use a nylon leader because that breaks off every single time. But it was so much fun. I would paddle in the current and then fish a little bit and then paddle, and it would blow me all over. And I got worn out, going from one end to the other. But that was a lot of fun. So I can see that I'll have one here soon.
Well, I can tell you, I took. We have 2 clubs here in Colorado. One is no motors. One is motors. That permits them. And I love both of them. Great groups of people, man. They're great, really awesome, awesome folks. So I have one of the kayaks we have has a pedal drive system in it, right? And so I went out with that pedal drive system last year. I tried it. And I got to tell you, dude, at least, and it's not our system because it's any system. Trying to pedal, fish, net a fish, and keep myself, from blowing into, sailboats that are moored out, in the lake or whatever. It was just too much horse crap going on at one time for me. I have my XI3 as well, and that anchor mode is, I actually put the Bluetooth foot pedal in mine. So I literally, when I hook up, I just with my foot, I smash anchor mode, and that motor guide locks me right in place, just like spot lock.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like spot lock. It locks me right there, keeps me nice and safe. Everybody's happy dappy. I get the fish in, say cheese, and grip and grin, and away we go. Troy, you run motor and pedal though, right? Because you're running a Hobie, is that right?
Yeah, I've got a Hobie PA14. I've got XI3 on the front with spot lock, and then I have my pedal drive as a backup, just in case. So in Missouri, we're blessed with lots of different types of water, and if we're fishing somewhere that has a necessity for spot lock, I'll use that, but I'm not locked into it. So if we have a lot of lily pads or grass and I don't want to mess with it, I'll just use the pedal drive.
That's the downside to that bow mount, man, is the skinny water, not so great.
Yeah.
You just gotta, because if you hit a log or something with it, bang, I mean, the whole kit and caboodle stops.
I'm going to go swimming one of these days.
Yeah.
Truman is always dirty and there's always sticks, and I stand up half the day. So it's going to happen.
At the Classic this year, I tagged a cross laydown that I didn't see at about 3.5 miles an hour, and thank goodness I was seated down and just bam, and my butt slid forward on that seat and about come out of it. Thankfully, I'm built with a lot of gravity, and so I didn't go too far. But
I was your knees.
And I thought for sure I was going to watch that motor just get ripped off the front, but knock on wood, the new canoe mount was good and it held up. But yeah, that the Newport motor on the back, she'll break away if I hit a log or whatever. You just keep on trucking with that. You're it pops up, slaps back down, and away you go. But
you guys have 2 motors on your kayaks?
We allow it in the All-American, but I do not. It's a lot of weight, man. That's when you start talking. Because unfortunately, like the XI3 is a 12 volt, my Newport's a 24, so 2 different batteries. Mm-hmm. And so when you gotta, my batteries are normally for either one are positioned in the back. So if I'm putting 2 lithiums back there in the back of the kayak, or if I'm deciding to move one up front, it's just there's gonna be a lot, and then the weight of the motor and everything. Yeah, I'm not a lot of kayaks can handle that kind of weight. I'm fortunate that I have one of the highest rated with the unlimited. It can hold about 650 pounds, but like the Hobie PA14 can hold like 550, I think is what it's rated for. Like that. So it takes a real special kind of kayak to be able to have 2 motors that it can handle, on that. But no, it's a cool concept, but I just don't think we're there yet.
I thought, I ran a survey. I thought maybe you guys might be interested in seeing some of the results I got from the survey. I have a list of about 2,000 fishermen that I email it out to, and it's probably going out here any minute. But I did put it out on Facebook, and I put it out on a couple sites, and we got pretty good response. I thought maybe you might like to see which ones got better response.
We would love it.
It might surprise you, some of them. So the first one, let's see. The first one, let me see if I can pull this up and move.
If you want, Mark, after this, if you wanted to share that with us, that we would love to see that, because we'll be.
I'll probably wait till I get some more results. Where it's better. But so, what's the most important reason for choosing an event? High payout, media exposure, no entry fee championship, or the organization? So the organization was the highest one. The next highest was media exposure. So that just shows you that kayak guys are interested in who's put it on, and then the good exposure that they can get. Then the next got high payout, no entry fee championship was actually pretty low on the list.
Wow.
I thought that was going to be way higher. So maybe I need to change my strategy there. What's the best payout structure? I put 1 in 10 or 1 in 5. It was dead even for both, so I think they don't care. Entry fee. What entry would you like? 75, 100, or 150? My assumption was that kayak guys like a lower entry fee than a professional bass boat tournament. 150 got half of the response, so it got the best response.
Yep.
Assuming big fish prize is deducted from my entry, which is best? I put $5, $10, no big fish. $10 got it. So they like to have the little big fish, extra big fish money.
Yep.
Let's see. I put a no entry championship would be funded by entry fees throughout the year. Would you like to see $10 from each or $20 from each? It got about the same response.
And I think a lot of this in the kayak scene, it is my opinion, okay, just my personal opinion. Nobody else, no association with any organization. It's there. Our scene and our sector of the sport fishing industry is ready for the next step. Our highest level of competition are the national trails right now, right? And
Sure.
And if you look at attendance, Hobie still kind of is at the top, the Hobie boss, right?
Right.
Bass probably right behind them, and then it's got KBF and us. We're brand new on the way up, but Bassmaster has the name, of course. Hobie has the name, and they just put on great shows, and they attracted the right people. But no matter what, it's still all pay to play, man. You can go fish against the best kayak anglers in the nation if you got the entry fee. There's no qualification to get there yet. So, but there's a lot of us that do look to the national side that are ready for that higher entry because we know what payout's coming. It's like, now if you can put a field of 100 kayakers together, man, it doesn't take a big body of water to put, 100 kayakers on comfortably, fishing on. And, yeah, man, it's those payouts. Those are our cost of operations way lower than a bass boat is,
Right.
And so we still have the travel piece with that, of course. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
That was another question, and most of our guys here are from Northern California. I said, would you be willing to travel for an event? Arizona got 29%, Washington 37%. Oregon 47%, and Southern Cal 47%. So
wow.
I probably should have had one that said I don't want to travel. But anyway, it just goes to show that guys, will travel. Kayak guys, because I don't know. I mean, this is all brand new to me, so I'm learning. I'm learning, and I'm trying to do the best things possible for all the kayak guys.
Well, I think at the heart of this, Troy, correct me if or chime in on this. The number one piece, man, is you're a good human being, Mark. I mean, that is known. You're known in the industry. You have a reputation of being a dude with integrity, and that's going to carry so far with all of us because at the end of the day, we're counting on that, right? We're counting on a series to be run by the right people. So when they make a call, we can get behind that call. And yeah, man, I think, that's the fact that you're also a competitive angler. You get it. That's our advantage here at the All-American. Josh Booth has done, he's one of us. The dude's still ready to get out there and compete and can with the best of them. And he's running the show behind the scenes. He knows what Troy and I are, looking for when we hit the water and such, and so that's key.
We've got guys that travel, 10 to 15 hours each way, and if you're running a series and you're not paying quickly and you're not putting the results up quickly and you're not giving feedback to the anglers quickly, if you're not answering the questions quickly, there are other options out there that are better, and the
Sure.
barrier to entry is just as easy to get into those leagues as it is to yours. So you've got to be at the top of your game right out the chute, and
Great
do
advice.
what you
Thank
say and say what you do.
So let's talk about it. I thought so. Your Apex and One are not associated together, correct?
They are not. No.
One was something complete. Okay, so
One Bass is Western Outdoor News, and they run a series of Pro-Am events.
Gotcha.
Wild West Bass had teams, Pro-Ams, kayaks, and the Apex series.
And this is the series that went under.
Yes.
Had some stuff taking place there, not very good. Didn't anglers not so happy with stuff going on. Whatever the case may be, don't know. I'm not privy to that. But bottom line is, they're gone, and it's left this massive hole for competition there in the state, which is enter Bass Angler Magazine.
Yes.
And your series. That's. But it's I saw a couple people, and I loved your responses to these. It was so professional and so straight and to the point. You did not buy Apex. You did not buy that series. You got equipment that they no longer needed, and you're starting brand new, fresh. The whole piece all together there.
Correct. Yeah, that whole social media thing. That is so. It is so difficult. I almost have to get my wife in here, and I go, honey, look at this. She says, don't respond. Don't respond. Don't say anything, and I'm like, all right. But this guy, I'm like, oh, no, I just won't respond, Usually I respond and I give my phone number. I'm like, hey, if there's a problem, why don't you call me? Let's talk about it, and I'd much rather talk about it on the phone rather than, I don't want to banter back and forth on the keyboard. I just, I don't think that's right. So talking about payouts, I had a question, and because here's my thought is that I may not be at all these kayak events, and maybe at some, but if I do, I'm probably not going to have a big trailer, computer, checks, and all that stuff there, right? So at the end of the event, I'm not going to be able to print up checks and hand them out to everybody.
Yep.
So my question was, I said, assuming we will not have a computer and printer on site, payouts will be sent the next business day after the event. And that's so. If you knew me, I don't like to owe people money. I don't like to have these things hanging over my head. So I'm just going to get it done. If I don't have the money, I'm going to go on a line of credit or something and get it, and let's just get it paid and we'll be done. So, and then I asked two questions. Would you like to mail me a check? Would you like it electronically? And electronically had an 85% response. Yeah, so I'm not sure the best way to do it electronically right now. I'm sure there's, ways out there, Venmo or something that is easy. I'll have to figure that out here. I have a few months before I have to figure that out, but I will. Where it's easy, because the previous circuit did gig wage, but the problem I had with that, it wasn't really a problem for me, but for a lot of people, you'd get a notice like a week or 10 days later that says, oh, you have money coming. And then it's another 3 or 4 days later after that. Then the money would show up in your bank account. So, I knew it was coming. I really wasn't worried about it, but other guys were. And I know that that's an issue, especially in the current dimension here where we're at, that, I'd like to make sure that, hey, it transfers over in a day or two. So if you guys or people out there know a system that works well, I'd love to find that and see how that works.
So for Moyak in Missouri and All-American Series, we don't pay immediately after the event because we have a 24-hour dispute period. So that allows other anglers to go on to tourneyx.com and look at all the pictures they want to and make sure that whoever's judging did a fair job. And if there are questions, they private message Josh or whoever is the tournament director, and they have 24 hours to say their piece. and they can bring up a dispute, and there's usually a board of 2 or 3 people that were not in the tournament that Josh or whoever the tournament director is will say, okay, this person is saying this about these fish. What's your take? And so you have, like in baseball, they call New York and they say, look at this call, and you give us feedback. And so it's not all Josh. He's got a board of 2 or 3 people that he can bounce those things off of. And it doesn't come up every tournament. Once in a while we'll have a situation where something looks out of place and we need more eyes on the situation. So I would suggest 24-hour dispute period and pay immediately after that 24 hours. And Stripe or PayPal are what we're finding to be the best online way to pay at this stage.
All right. Does Stripe have fees like PayPal does?
They do. They're all going to take their little cut. They're 2.9 plus a quarter or whatever it is. It goes up all the time. So I'm sure somebody is going to be able to comment on this podcast or get in touch with you about the better ways to pay. I'm seeing new options. For the past several years, it's been PayPal only. But PayPal's changed some of the way they do taxes and that sort of thing. And people are trying to find different options. So be open to that.
Yeah, I'm definitely open to that. If anybody out there knows, feel free to reach out. I'm pretty easy to find. Mark Lassagne Fishing, Bass Angler Magazine on Facebook, bassanglermag.com. So my contact info's all over the place. And, most everybody has my phone number now by all the potential spam calls I'm getting.
Seems to be buzzing around out there, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the cool things on the kayak side of things, Mark, is that we are still young. It's still, there's a lot that we've taken from the boat world that makes sense because the boats have been doing this, in the bass boat side's been doing this competition stuff a lot longer. But at the same time, there's a lot of advantages on the kayak side that we don't have to go the same route. There's other options, in the kayak side, which is what maybe opens the door to competitive bass angling to a section of folks that maybe couldn't get in because of the fact of, I'll tell you, when I got out, and I'm preaching to the choir here, Mark, and I know Troy's got a bass boat as well. Good Lord. What the prices on those things, I missed a pay bump somewhere because my paycheck wasn't matching the increase in those bass boats over the last 10 years, man.
That bass boat's 100 G's now.
Oh, yeah. And that's like,
oh my God.
And you're going to get some 3-2 sloth out there that's going to complain about the brand going, well, you get what you pay for. Dude, it's a $90,000 boat. I don't care what name you put on the side of it. I hope I get what I pay for.
Yeah. I'll tell you another side of that coin. Here in Missouri, we're in Moyac. We're drawing 80 to 120 anglers, and our payouts are equal to or better than the regional bass trails here.
Right.
Or the payouts.
Oh, nice.
So, do the math. It's just better all around. Better for everything.
Can be, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, and I want to get your take on this, Mark. See what you think. I'm a boat guy is where I started, and now I'm converted. This is my second year in kayaks, and I'm not looking back. I'm kayak till I can't get on the water anymore because I love it. But do you see the progression? MLF put it first on the discussion board with the catchway release. Mm-hmm. Kayaks. I think it's funny when I hear these bass tournaments talking about, we're trying to figure out how to do it. And it's like, we've been doing it for quite a while over here. It's,
right.
There is software. And if you show enough, people that there's a market for this, trust me, there'll be a lot of nerds coming out of the woodwork, putting together some cool software to make this, very, very sound. Do you see on the bass boat side eventually are we progressing towards that catchway release type system at major levels, or do you think it's always going to be that way?
I think it's a possibility. Still, I think there's a lot of hype around the weigh-in.
Right.
The mystique of and even though MLF and BASS do a great job of the live show and giving you a good idea of what it is, but there's still that that mystique, that hype about, you weighing a bigger bag and the guy that wins. So, it's possible. I
Right.
think it's, for the bass fishing world, I think it's only possible if it's live.
Right.
If we can do live shows with, everybody on camera, because we need to get so much of it is getting the audience, all the other anglers out there involved.
Right.
Because that's what makes it all go around. We get all the other anglers involved, sponsors get happy, anglers are happy, everybody gets a lot more exposure, sponsors pay some money, then everything goes up, and it ends up a big happy world. But I think to get to that point, we're going to have live and probably cameras in every boat.
Right. And there's been some discussion about that. Actually, on Thursday, I've got an episode of the podcast airing. I had Joshua Deal on. He's a longtime kayak professional with Bass and Hobie. He fishes both of those series. And we were talking about rules infractions. We've been seeing it in the bass boat, side. We've been seeing it in the kayak side. It's out there, and we were wondering, why are we seeing maybe a little more than we have in the past? Why is it starting to, really be, catch mainstream or whatever? And one of the conversations was that very same thing, that eventually, feeling that, there may be a camera needed when you're at the highest level, a camera in each, kayak out there,
Sure.
facing forward and broadcasting out, and the technology's there to do it in the boats. And it's micro technology, man. It could be done. It's going to cost some money. You're going to need sponsors to get behind it, but it could be done.
I think it's good. I mean, the whole cheating thing, it's so unfortunate. Myself as an angler, and if I cheated and won the tournament, I'm going to tell you, I just would not. It's just me. I wouldn't feel good about it. I'm a horrible liar too. So, I wouldn't be that. I'd be that guy like, hey, did you cheat? Yeah. Because I'm not a good liar. I'm just not, just not in me. So
I suppose if greed takes over, whatever, but I disconnect. I have a hard time finding the common frame. I immediately just go to you're a piece of crap and I have no time for you, because I know how much time, energy, and money has gone in by the other anglers to come here and work hard to compete. And so to know someone was slighting that, it's like, nah, dog, I got no time for that kind of mess. That's a FAFO moment right there.
Right.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, Mark, is talk about, you are a retired U.S. Marine. Am I correct?
I'm not retired from.
No.
I served in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
I'm a disabled Marine.
Understood. Gotcha.
So I was fortunate enough to be at Camp Lejeune and had some issues from that. I have a blood cancer from Camp Lejeune.
Oh my gracious!
So I'm a disabled Marine. I served my time and I did it. I didn't do 20 years, and I never saw combat. So
There you go.
For me, combat is one of those things that I think would be an amazing experience that I would never want to experience.
Right.
I just think it would, to experience that would be an amazing thing. But on the other hand, I would like to experience it, but not experience it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when I was in, we're all gung ho, let's go, but fortunately we never deployed. Well,
that's, I've had the fortune and the honor to spend a lot of time with a lot of combat Marines. And I have come to learn, a lot of common denominators about just Marines in general, about you guys out there. And it's something that I feel like I'm a better human being because of my experience in seeing this. And then, of course, obviously getting a chance to meet, veterans from all the services is,
Sure.
But anytime I hear Marine, of course, it's close to home. Romans Warrior Foundation, who I'm a proud member of and the VP of their board. Brian Romans he was retired against his will, situation in his case. That was in Marine. And so the stories, and be with the Stop 22 tour, a lot of Marines, a lot of combat vets, in that are out there on the Stop 22. Jonathan Wells, who I played at the beginning, he's actually Army. He's an Army vet.
Great song, by the way. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Bullets is Jonathan Wells. You can catch him out on YouTube. He used to be with a little band there for a while, but anywhere we go where we bring the Stop 22, we have our core set of artists there. We try to get them in there because it's healing through music, man. It's right. Music by vets for vets. They get it, they feel it. It's a message, and it's super cool to be a part of that, and watch that. But no, it's the combat side is a tricky deal. So I'm not a veteran myself, which is why the name of my little nonprofit, the True Patriot Outfitters, that's what we are. We're a true patriot of the men and women that have served this country, and I always say this: no matter how hard I try, I'll never understand what a combat vet has gone through. It's just impossible. You know what I mean? There's no way I can understand what you went through going through Marine boot camp. Are you kidding me? I mean, that wipes out more people that they can't even make it through that. So.
After I went through Marine Corps boot camp, I mean, as tough as it was, I thought every 18-year-old should have to do this. Right? It would give you a new outlook on life.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah, I mean, you could imagine. I've seen the biggest, baddest guys just break down and cry. I was like, wow. So I enjoyed my time in the Marine Corps. It was great. I was proud to serve. So
that's awesome.
It was an amazing experience.
Well, from all of us, brother, thank you for your service, and thank you to your family for everything you guys have done. It allows guys like Troy and I to go out and do this kind of stuff right here because of dudes like you, man.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
So we have a friend of ours out here in Colorado, and she's no stranger to the kayak scene. They're moving into your neck of the woods, brother. Her name is Sandy Roberts, and she commented up there, "We will travel from northern Nevada for these tournaments. Looking forward to it."
Awesome.
Clay
All right.
Yeah. Clay and Sandy are staples in the kayak community out here. They've been in bass boats, for a lot of their time. They've fished with us in the All-American several times. Here in Colorado quite a bit. Actually, if it weren't for Clay and Sandy, the True Patriot Outfitters would not have a new to us cargo enclosed trailer. They sold us theirs at a great deal so that our little nonprofit, we can haul my little fleet of kayaks around now from state to state and go do this stuff. So yeah, super cool. So that's awesome. They're going to be in your neck of the woods.
So my goal with actually both all the series but with the kayak series is that when guys get done fishing this, I want them to go, wow, that was a good tournament. I want them to look back and go, wow, it was a good tournament, and they did a good job and I was happy. So that's, I think, that honestly, that's what will make me happy is, and obviously, it's a business and we'd like to make money at it. But the end result is I want to make people happy. That makes me happy. Like when I take somebody fishing and they catch a lot of fish, right. I don't have to catch. I've caught plenty of fish in my life. I don't have to catch them. That guy catches them. I'm like, right on. That's great. I don't have to be that guy catching them. I like to see other people catch fish. So, I don't know how that was instilled into me, but I enjoy making other people happy.
I think it's the passion for fishing, man. You get that excited just watching somebody else hammer on something, especially if it's not in a tournament setting, because then you don't have to go, oh, you bastards, you just took my fish.
Oh, yeah. Well, now that part is different. We're not going there.
Right, exactly. Hey, so Troy and I were talking before we went live here, and he was doing his homework, checking out Bass Angling Magazine. And we noticed something which is super, super cool is you guys have a good amount of articles out there from Bassmaster from the kayak series. So I'm going to put you on the spot, boss. what do we need to do at the All American to maybe start making some noise where we could warrant getting some articles in there into the magazine?
Press releases.
Press release?
Press releases. So
okay,
that's I hate to even say it, because once I say it and everybody gets on board, then I get flooded with all these press releases.
Let's talk after we get off air here. We'll talk about it there.
We won't share that. But anyway,
yeah.
If when press releases come into my inbox, we get them up on the web. And, we have a lot of people, as 25,000 anglers go to our website every month.
Wow.
So we have a good amount of exposure. And then in the magazine, we're a how-to bass fishing magazine. So if you send me something that says, hey, this is how we're doing this in our kayaks, or this is, this is something I found that was difficult for me, and now I've figured out how to overcome it. Whether it's standing up fishing, punching, throwing top water, maybe just standing up in a kayak. I don't know. I've never stood up in a kayak, so I don't know. I was at ICAST asking the guys, how do you can you stand up in these? Oh yeah, it's easy. I'm like, okay. But
I'd say it depends on the model. Depends on the model.
Right. If you have an idea of a great story, feel free to send it to me. My email is mark, M-A-R-K, at bassmag.com, mark@bassmag.com. Pretty easy to remember. So shoot me an idea. It may just make the magazine.
I appreciate that, man. That's, with the All American, something that Troy and I and Josh and Tyler were all sitting around. The All American is a kayak series that is focused on the flyover states, that central section of the United States. Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, everything that gets basically passed by. There's so much good water in there, and just great tournaments go off in these neck of the woods. And we do have a couple of the legendaries, right? Table Rock is in, the Ozarks just in general are legendary lakes. But there's a lot of other really, really good ones. And so making this a series that can have its seat at the table next to bass and next to Hobie is the mission, man. We're trying to get us on the market to give anglers in the Midwest a closer option so they don't have to travel 12, 15 hours to try to get someplace. They can go 4, 5, 6 hours and spend a couple days at a really well-run, organization right here in the right central U.S. type thing. So I'm in Colorado. Anywhere I go, it's a 12-hour drive. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Or as we call it out here, Eastern California. That's pretty much
what bass in Colorado. Maybe not a lot, but there's some.
There is. It's a finesse game for sure. If you're going to tournament fish out here, if you're not getting finessed, you're just getting your money taken from you. So that's just the way it is. So yeah, I for me to get to Cali is like 16 hours to get to the Delta.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, and it's over a mountain range through the desert by some hookers and everything else to try to get there. It's like nothing's easy for us out here to travel. At least bass anglers. I suppose if I fly fished, it'd be something different. You fly fish, Troy?
No, sir.
No, that's a thinking man's sport right there.
That's a job. Fly fishing is a job. I'm not a good fly fisher person.
Same.
I have a hard time casting, that whole thing, and mend it, and when I go with my buddies, always like mend it. I'm like, what? The bobber's back there. You got a bite. I'm like, oh my god, I can't do all these things at one time. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's a thinking man's game. But we did steal something from them though in our line of work, and that's match the hatch, right? That came from those guys, because I knew. These dudes will be out there in the morning turning over rocks, looking at larvae and stuff, deciding what fly they want to throw, and I'm like,
yeah,
bro, you're on a different mental level than I. I'm looking at watercolor.
We're throwing a big chartreuse plug that looks like I don't know what, right? or some big
Exactly.
thing with, with 5 wires and blades and all these fish on it. And it's like, that really doesn't look that real. So I don't know why they're biting it, but they do.
Well, listen, Mark, we can't thank you enough for coming on our little show here and talking about the B.A.M. New tournament series coming out, Bass Angler Magazine. You're looking to go for 2024, is that right? I mean, that's
correct.
That's the go time is 2024.
2024, yes.
And you guys in your neck of the woods, can you guys fish 12 months out of the year?
We can.
Yeah, because you don't really get blasted with the snow cover and such.
It doesn't. Our lakes don't get hard.
Right.
So we don't have to drill holes to fish. We just, it gets cold, but not horrible. It's not 20 below or anything.
When
cold.
When does your season normally start up?
January. A lot of times we'll start at Lake Shasta in January. The bite can be pretty good then. Nice. January, February is good. February, you get near the end of February, things start to warm up. You get in the 60s, and it's not bad. Wow. Sometimes even fish start to spawn in February if it's a warm year.
We're still fighting off blizzards out here in February, March. Dude.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Missouri, you guys don't. I mean, it's rare that the Ozark Big Lakes freeze over. Maybe some creek pockets, right? But it's rare.
Yeah, northern Missouri, close to the Iowa border, we got a lake or two up there. They'll get hard, but we'll have pockets, coves, and things that'll freeze. But for the most part, we can fish 12 months out of the year if you got enough clothes on.
Yeah, you got to be serious about it for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and Mark, if there was anything else that you wanted to make an announcement here on, please let me know. Did we cover everything to make sure?
I think we went over a lot of things. Yeah, it was good. I appreciate you having me on, and I wish you guys all the success with your kayak series too.
Likewise.
Well. And Mark, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us about running a kayak series, any leverage, anything we can do to help you out in your new venture. We'd be more than happy to help out.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's a giant learning curve for me right at this moment. So, I'm trying to do it right. So hopefully it'll all come together here soon, and we'll have some great events.
I'm looking forward to seeing how your story gets told.
Oh, thank you.
And who knows, man? Maybe I might be able to convince my man there. Road trip. We're going to Cali.
You're a trailer with a bunch of kayaks.
That's what I'm saying.
Save a kayak for me, and then I can go out and paddle with you guys, or maybe you got one of the motors, so it'd be a little easier for me.
We just need to get a storage facility in the west and in the central and the east.
Right.
There you go. And just fly.
There you go.
There's, we need drivers. That's what we need. We fly, send a driver to drive our rigs there.
Yeah, like Boy Duckett, just drive my truck and boat over there. I'll fly. See you there in like a week.
West Coast guy Skeet Reese, he does that for sure. Skeet's doing that.
Must be nice. All right.
We'll need a Mega Millions win to make that happen.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll connect with you after we roll out of here. Go ahead and stay in the green room there real quick for me, Mark. And once we're off live, I'll get back with you here, folks.
Yes,
make sure go out and check out. Let me see here. I know we had it here at one point.
BassAnglerMag.com.
Yes, Bass Angler Mag on Facebook, Instagram, and BassAnglerMag.com. Check those out there. That's where you're going to find all the information about this extremely exciting new tournament series that's going on there. If you're in the boat world, it's got something for you there. If you're in the kayak world, it's got something for you there. He's yeah, man, I'm excited to see, like Troy said, see how you unfold this thing, man. We're gonna be back here cheering for you the whole way. And I got a few friends out there now with the Roberts out there. I got my buddy Lucas out there in Cali, so I see a road trip for sure coming down the line.
Yeah, come on out.
Folks, make sure to smash that subscribe, the likes, and the follows for the All-American Kayak Series and the True Patriot Outfitters. That is an awesome way for you to give us the kind of support that we need to keep this stuff moving. And as always, we appreciate all of the kind individuals that are watching us here live. And if you're watching this recorded, thank you very much. We appreciate those as well. As always, folks, tie lines, be safe.